Okay, I'm recording again. Okay, so this Coalplant is essentially just Ashfield. So if you played Ashfield, a lot of things are constant there. You have a problem that you get in other maps where you get people spawning on different sides, which can be really awkward. It's not that much of a thing for you, but you might want to be aware that if your soldier has started like far over the other side and you're planning on rolling out Fists of Steel, that might be an issue because you're going to be quite slow to mid. So maybe you want to go group. Who knows?
Actually happened today. Our soldier spawned on the right and I spawned on the left.
Yeah, really fucking awkward.
We get spammed out at mid.
I'm beginning to think that I might want to start running Gru as my default. So normally on King of the Hills I run Fist of Steel as default because the distance to get to mid isn't that great. And okay, so for instance, in a scrim we were playing today, I was constantly getting mini crits on the other heavy as he rolled to mid. Just because, so I mean, if you're planning on not taking mini crits as soon as you get seen, then what, you're going to have to stop gruing when you're about here? Yeah, pretty much exactly there. So that's pretty horrendous. If you are planning on rolling Gru to mid, then unless you're whipped by a soldier, your like boundary is here. If you are getting whipped by a soldier, I'd imagine you're only going to Gru to that doorway, which is, you know...
The question to be asked, I think, is what are you planning to do once you get on mid? Because there are generally two types of King of the Hill maps. There's some where you get on point directly, like Lakeside, and there are some where you just get to mid and just turtle, which I think applies to this map. Because when I get to mid on here, on Asheville, I don't just stand on point and start spraying around. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah. So I mean, you don't want to commit on this one. Like, essentially, the way that it's set up with these two sides, the mid is essentially like a large choke point, essentially. So yeah, if you're intending to fight on point or push over, I'd say that's bad. The biggest thing that you need to know as soon as you hit point is where the sniper is, because essentially there's two sides to this map. I mean, there's two sides to every map, but in this one they're just massively pronounced. If the sniper's top right, then you want to be fighting on the right hand side. If the sniper's top left, you want to be fighting on the left hand side, because you cannot fight on the side opposite their sniper, or you will die, and it's going to be shit. As a result, we find ourselves default going out left, just because if you come out left, snipers tend to like that top side more on that side. Like, if they go out that side, it's not as great for sniper. Although, I mean, with this walkway across here, maybe it will be. That's just what we found. As a general way to approach this map, it may be different for how your team plays out, but, I mean, one thing is, like, playing heavy in higher divs is actually quite different from playing heavy in lower divs. Like, in lower divs, like, heavy can be like the star of the team and the main damage pusher, but in higher divs, if you try and play like that, you tend to find yourself getting killed by...
I cry every team.
Yeah, like, Demo is the playmaker in the higher divs, just because as the skill levels get higher, demos can just do a lot more. You probably won't be like leading on this map. Well, depending on how it plays out. I mean, if your team like rolls like heavy leading stuff, then maybe it will be. But in general, the distances in this map are really fucking horrible. Like, if you're holding left or right, then the distance to which anyone's going to be is at best like mid-range. There's not much getting people round corners and such. If you go under, then there's a bit of that play. But again, if you go straight under, chances are you're going to be fighting someone over that end at mid-range again. So there's virtually no close range on this map. Whereas, I mean, compare it to, say, Lakeside, where you'll be behind pillar, and if people are on point, there's loads of close range. But, I mean, even, like, if you're going to be capping point, people will cap from, like, far away. And if they know you're on a certain edge, they might be on the other side, and suddenly, like, they're on point, but a very long way from you again. So... yeah, don't be going thinking you're going to like be top fragging, getting all the kills. I mean, you know, if you're a prem heavy and playing in steel, then maybe you will. Just saying. But yeah.
Well, and Div 2
shots fired.
It's a big difference.
Fair enough. But yeah, so yeah, don't be chasing frags too much. Yeah, so with rollout, what we've been experimenting with is coming center, then cutting one way or the other. The nice thing about coming center immediately is, unless the sniper's been fucking ninja fast, he won't be along one of these walkways. So it means when you come out this side, you can kind of see what's going on. The disadvantage to that is you can take lots of spam, so maybe you want to commit to a side, maybe you don't. I think if I was grewing out, then I'd probably commit to whichever side we were grewing to. If I was Fists of Stealing, I'd probably be willing to come out centre and then make a decision once I'm here, because you're not going to be taking much damage. But I mean, there's no point jumping out here and spinning up, because you're going to be doing like, you know, 5s and 6s or whatever. It's nothing. So the big difference on this map over Asheville, as far as I'm concerned, is this area here. There's so much more fluidity here. Like switching up, going through the back on Asheville took fucking ages. But this one, it's actually really quick just to switch it around and such. And yeah, I'm finding that my job is babysitting the medic an awful lot. Again, this is like a weird one where like the div difference changes how teams play an awful lot. In the lower divs and like the mid divs, you'll see pyros often looking after the med. But in the higher divs, because if you've got your puff and sting down with pyro to the extent, like the pyro becomes a real pit class, and if you just have your pyro sitting around the medic, guarding the medic, then you're effectively a player down, and you just can't afford to do that. So in higher divs, things get a lot more kind of edgy, because you won't have a pyro constantly running with your combo. He'll be nearby looking for picks, so you know he might be around, but you can't guarantee that. So you've got to be like looking after your med a lot more. Let's talk about holding on each side and how you want to do that. On this side, if the sniper's top left, you've got a couple of places you can hold. Corner's pretty good. You can be dinging people over there. You've got decent cover. You can stop people getting on point. But if you want to hold here, this is very dependent on your people having control of this roof. And I'd say the same is for holding close on both sides. You only want to hold close and be edging the point if you have control of this roof, because otherwise a soldier can get above you and start putting in splash and you can't deal with him. Like if I'm here and the call goes out that there's a soldier on roof, I can't do anything. Like, I just don't have the angles. So I want to be back here in that case. Because, I mean, look at the angle of this roof. There's a sweet spot where you can kind of be out here and you can like cover the entire roof. Although, again, if you're kind of out here, it might be easy for a spy to get you. Like,
you want to send someone here, Rusky?
Yeah, this corner's nice over here. I quite like this. One thing, if I haven't seen a spy do it, but this board here just really changes like the spy decloak spots. It turns over here into a very, very plausible spy decloak, because if the spy chooses to decloak in a point where everyone's like behind this board, then he can come out and go for the stab and get really close without you seeing him. So this area here is good for covering roof, but not great for a couple of spy decloaks. If you have a lot of people clustered around here, which you might see happen on this map, then spies can actually just decloak in this corner and they might get a pick. So yeah, depending on who you've got here, you need to be quite fluid about where you're going to hold. Don't underestimate the usefulness of staying back here and dinging people on that corner and dinging people up top. It's long range and it's normally pretty fucking useless, but actually if their team's like holding, say, over in this corner, the difference between you being here and the difference between you being kind of quite far back here isn't actually that much different. Like, if they start getting close onto point, then the damage really ramps up for you, but at those kind of mid to long ranges, it's not that big a thing if you're a bit further back. So staying up here is plausible, although again, when you're staying up here, the distance between where you, well, like the frequency about where you're going to need to check if you want to be like 100% safe is basically you can't do it. Like spies decloaking back here, their run between decloak and getting onto you is just really, really fast. So, you know, something to think about. What else? Spy decloak spot down there.
And that's the meaning of life.
Yeah. Another spy decloak spot is down there. Keep a really good eye on that. Also, while you're over here, I mean, this is an obvious one, but look out for the shutter moving with no one being near it, because obviously that means it's spy. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so that's basic holding on the left. If you're doing right hold, So you'll normally find yourself being up here, because this covers very nicely into lower. Again, you need to be looking out for spies decloaking on the stairs. These stairs have changed a lot. These stairs are actually much more interesting now. I haven't had an opportunity to use it, but this strikes me, excuse me, a very interesting spot to shoot through. If you're forward holding, I'm not sure how you'd use it. If you were holding on your side, it could be used. I don't know. It's something to think about. Little things like that, where you've got really big cover. You don't use them all the time. You don't plan to use them, but as a heavy, you want to have all of your options just at your fingertips, and every little map advantage you can have, you want to abuse to the fullest. So okay, yeah, what you'll be doing is, if you're kind of quite far back with your demo and med, you'll be holding up here. You can kind of cover this roof a bit. You're not too open to snipers over there, although these can be shot through, so do be very wary of those. Like, if the sniper's on the other side of them, don't fuck with him, just get in cover. Just like this, like King of the Hill maps like this, just never ever fuck with the sniper. Like, if he's out there, don't peek. Don't think, oh, I can do some ducking timing so he won't get me, I'll just put in a little couple of dinks. The only time I will ever do long range with a sniper is if one of my teammates calls that he is so super low that it's ridiculous, and then I'll jump out, do a couple of dings, and if I get a kill for 12 damage, I'll take that. But apart from that, just don't fuck with snipers on this map. Like, if the sniper's there, just don't look at all until someone calls the snipers down. It's just not worth the risk. Like, you're such a big part of your combo on this map, because you'll be holding in such proximity to the enemy. Like, in fact, yeah, let's talk about the lower hold. Okay, the lower hold here, again, you only really want to be down here if you have people having control of that roof. Coming in and holding down below is plausible, I guess. I mean, you've got a health pack down here.
It's more plausible than it would be on Ashfield, because they can't see you under here.
I don't know, I quite like the glass ceiling. I'd say that meant you could keep an eye on what the fuck was going on. Like, you have less information down here, which is dodgy. So I wouldn't want to hold down here all the time, although, like, coming up to, say, here and abusing this cover, this is really nice. Like, you can be peeking over that edge, shooting people as they come down there. So it's a plausible forward hold with a great escape route. Although, I mean, the thing that happens is, on our team, is if their combo's holding below, like, and it's called that, they've got a couple of down, they're trying to retreat. If I'm up here, I'll break, not with Gru out, obviously, and I'll try and pick them up as they come out from under. Because if they don't have people covering this area, then you can pick up a lot of people while they're sandwiched in there. And say if a demo's chasing them under, and you're like picking people up from here as they come up, that's a great place to get frags.
Oh, you know what else I like about what they changed here, different from Asheville, that if you're doing a forward hold on the left side, the enemy left side, and you decide it's time to retreat, you can just, on Asheville it's a more moderate ramp, you just walk down, but here, if you're holding up top and you want to retreat, you just
you can get out of the way very quickly. Although, I mean, I'd say holding here, unless you're really on the edge and ready to bail at any moment, I wouldn't want to hold here. And in fact, if you're going to be down here, you might as well be abusing this cover here. Although,
Yeah, no, I was talking about retreating when you're on top.
Oh, right, yeah, if you're running away from up top.
I don't know if I agree about you there, when it comes to holding on top. Because, like, in the change of this map, like, in the middle house thingy, they have removed, like, all the walls, which means that, like, a sniper just needs to exit his spawn, go to the left, and, like, this line of sight. You can, like, see where I am at the moment.
Which one are you?
This one?
I'm in the red side.
Oh yeah.
Pretend you do like.
Which one is Kazoo?
Where are you, Kazoo?
He's the one with the toque. The red one with the toque.
No, I'm none of you there. I'm below you guys.
Are you on the other side?
Yeah,
we're all on, like, we're all up
because
here.
like, if you are standing, like, you cannot go any further than you are, like, right now. Because like, if they have like a sniper here, he prevents you from going like one step further. Then they can like just, well, stick up with a combo and like just force you to go down.
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
think it's a problem with forward holds on this map in general, because I'm lost on the right side as well.
Okay, here's how I'm forward holding on this map, and this worked in scrims today. Like, I mean, I should put in the disclaimer, I don't claim to be like the end of knowledge on this map at all.
It's fine.
I'm very much like, this is the map I feel least comfortable on in this season's list, mainly just because it hasn't been played as much. But okay, so because they've opened up the middle, if we're forward holding, what we were doing today, and was very effective, was we'd have like some people on that side, some people on that side, say demo med went up top right, we had a flank top left, and I'd come to this door, and if you're a heavy here, you're suddenly shutting down so much stuff, and if things get too hot, you just run away, the door closes, and you're scot-free. And your faster classes can retreat from these places with like larger run distances, but you just like literally just run back across the point and you're safe. So I think forward holding and having you in this door actually really shuts down an awful lot. It means that the two central entrances are fairly shut down for them, and you're kind of supporting your team without being overly committed. So I quite like that. Like, I mean, as with Asheville, a really important thing to have on your forward hold is not to overcommit. Like, if they start coming out too strong, put in some damage, but don't have anyone die and just retreat.
Yeah,
like,
the fact that it's a shutter door really helps.
I mean, just as in a general thing, like, this is true on attack and defend maps as well, that if you've got the point, don't chase frags, because there's just no fucking need. Like, if you've got the point and you're alive and they're alive and they're not killing you, then that's fine. Just that situation is just fine, because you're just ranking up time and you're going to win. It's like you see a lot of heavies like chasing frags on like when you're defending something like Badwater, and it's just like there's no need. Like okay, in fact a really good example is the map that we just had pass with Upward. So I really think that on third, heavy holding drop down with the medic is just legendary. Like we've halted other Prem teams for like 5-minute periods just with that hold. But it's like, okay, so say your medic is forced by a spy in the drop down tunnel, and you've got an Uber up there, and the temptation is to drop down and pursue them. I won't do it. I'll be like, do you know what? I'm just going to stay up here and let the Uber time out. Because if you pursue them, the risk versus reward is really bad. Like, if you have a heavy in that position, like, even if they, like, Uber in, because your demo is, like, supporting from corner, they have to pop really early, you can just walk back. Their offensive Uber isn't actually that useful. Well, I mean, it is, but you can get away. Please don't
covering your back when you're retreating.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, yeah, just as an example, that's like, there's no point chasing frags, even if you're Ubered. It's just like, we're defending, so let's hold the position that's really, really good for defending and not let any bullshit happen. Okay, so, yeah, I think if they're quite far back, like if your soldier has control of this roof, your sniper's up there locking down that roof, then I think coming forwards to like this kind of area is acceptable. From here, in fact, you can cover their entire top left without being seen from their bottom, which is kind of useful. It's worth a look. Holding the right side isn't as nice. But again, like if you're holding here and you've got them trapped back here, then as soon as they start coming out in force, you can just start running away, and your demo can run back while putting in stickies, and you've got time to pull back. But again, it's very much a case of not getting caught out. Like, as soon as things get hot, just pull back. There's no point like fighting and like dying if you've got the point. Again, yeah, just, you know, don't chase frags. There's no need. What else about forward holds? Okay, so in fact, let's talk about like switching up, because that's another, like, when you're kind of on this side of the point that I haven't really covered. This is why I think I want to run Gru on this map, is that if you're on this side and their sniper turns up, once the sniper's up there, unless you've got people to deal with him, you just need to switch sides. So if you got Gru, kind of this run across here, you're not like holding back the combo. Like what I was finding when I was using Fists of Steel was the demo would want to switch it really fast, and I was just being really like lagging behind and such, and it was really bad. The flip side to this one, I would say, is again, like when you're coming out up top, get off your Gru early. Like you want to be like getting off your Gru back here almost, maybe even further back, because you don't want to be coming out onto this area with mini crits active. Like, the chance of there being a soldier up here or a scout lurking around is really great. There's loads of places to hide up here, and like people can come from below and yada yada yada. So yeah, just be very wary about changing off your Gru early. one thing also to say is, I mean, this isn't so much a heavy thing, but one thing that our soldier Tom does, which is really lovely, is say he's just like passing through. He'll literally he'll be rocket jumping through, he'll land, whip me once, then rocket jump off again. And just for that little bit, I get that speed boost and I can do loads with it. Another one that we've done before, which is really sweet, is say if I'm playing at a corner with another heavy or other members of the team, he'll whip me. And if you're whipped, your spin-up speed is lethal, and you can destroy people with that. It's unreal. It's why whenever our soldiers asking me these days, do you want me to run conch? I'm like, dude, if you need to run anything but the conch, then I'm totally down with that, because you know your class. But if there's any question, I want you to run the conch, because that movement speed buff combined with that health, oh my god, that shit is amazing.
It's like designed for the heavy, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the most beautiful thing. Like, whenever that conch is being used, I want to be near it, because your spin-up speed is outrageous with that thing. It's I can't go on about it enough. Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know. I guess there's not that much heavy specific stuff on this map, just because it's a very simple kind of premise how it works. Okay, we've done crossing over behind. We've done forward holds. Okay, let's look at forward holds in case your team holds forward right or forward left. If you're forward right holding, I don't think you want to be any further forward than this doorway.
Get out there, Risky.
Sorry? I cut up.
Get out.
Sorry.
Yeah, like the whole sentence.
Alright, okay, if you're forward holding, let's talk about that, is how far I think I got, and you might not have heard. So, okay, if you're forward holding, again, if you're here, if you look at all the distances for heavy, they're pretty shit. You're not going to be putting out big damage or anything. So, I'd be very tempted to hold back here. Now, your medic might want to like hide in this corner, your demo might want to be further forward for a great field of fire. What you want to be doing is just holding shit down and letting your demo retreat if he needs to. Like, you're not very effective on the forward hold here. And if a demo starts splashing you, say you're forward and holding by these boxes, you're going to take so much damage while you're trying to run away here. I really wouldn't go for it. Oh, I'm going to drag Tom in.
Oh, you want to know what happened to me?
Hi, Tom.
Hey Tom, how's it? Sorry, going lazy?
What happened to me more times than I would like to admit. During forward holds here on the right side, I would get some damage and just retreat over here, eat a sandwich.
Have a cheeky sandwich,
and,
yeah.
And at the meantime, the combo would go out with crates over here, and I would just hide over there.
Just jump out there. That's cute. Yeah, so, I mean, your team should probably be thinking about running crits on this map, in which case you're not a bad option for a number of things. But yeah, I mean, if your demo's out there and the med's healing him, then getting a cheeky sandwich is fine. Don't even think about forward holding unless you got your combo with you. It's kind of like, okay, so this is one of the things about heavies who make plays. And again, it depends how your team works. Like, if your team is running like heavy and medic mainly, and your heavy's leading, and again, this is kind of largely a lower divs thing, then you can kind of get away with being a playmaking heavy, because the whole thing about a playmaking heavy is catching people by surprise in that close range. Again, as you get to higher skill levels, you tend to find that you don't necessarily want to be caught on your own with a scout, because the like prem scouts, they can just kill you, and in lower divs that just doesn't happen. But prem scouts are bastards, that you've really got to watch out for them. So you don't want to be on your own, you always want to have your combo with you. And also, because the pyro is actually taking up that kind of roaming role to some extent, you want to be with your med at all times, so you can always look after him from jumpers, from spies, from whatever. So yeah, again, like, as a just general gist on this map, I'm kind of playing it as a very supporting class. So if my demo is putting out loads of damage there, I'll be putting out dings. If I see him focusing a target, I'll put extra damage on them just to kind of ramp it up a little bit. But I'm not coming out too far. If our demo starts retreating, I'm the wall of bullets, which is going to stop people chasing him too much. Also, if the demo is taking too much heat, I can drop behind this corner and throw him a sandwich while he's taking damage to maximise the chance of him getting out. So yeah, like, again, this is something to think about. Sandwiches aren't just for medics. Like, sandwich for your demo is huge. Like, if you can get out of a fight with your demo, who's like putting out crazy amounts of damage, then yeah, that's great. You know, supporting him in that way is a very legitimate thing to do. Forward left holds. We've experimented with this, and do you know what? I just really didn't like it. It just didn't seem like we could do much. Like, if you're up here, they can take a load of space over there and be hitting you at a very uncomfortable range. Like down there, I mean, sure, like you can get your demo holding there, he's sticking it up, maybe your sniper's looking down there, but then they just won't come out of there, and they've got an awfully large space to play with over here. The way to break and thus react to a forward hold is whichever side they're forward holding, don't try and take them head on. Like, there's just no point. Like, so say, if they've pushed, okay, you're attacking from this side, I know I'm kind of the wrong colour, doesn't matter, and they've pushed up and they've got, like, their demo close to this choke point, don't fight them here. Like, you don't want to fight into a choke. Just go the other side, and unless they react fast to you going the other side, suddenly they're kind of trapped in a very bad position in your wrapping round. Like, if they're, like, forward holding over there, and your team has taken this space, maybe you've got a sniper here, or maybe you're just jumping your team down to here, their escape route's kind of gone, and that's really bad. Like, you want to pull back before that. Now, if your comms are bad, like happened to us in our scrim today, they went through the main building and came up behind us and actually did a lot of damage. But if comms are good, if they're going through building, then you can kind of pull back almost onto point, and their combos getting sandwiched between your spawners and your team, and you should be very aware of where they are, and it's just a messy place for their combo to be.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And what we discussed about the heavy, that it's easy to transition between sides here inside this building. Also, I think that happened to us that we were, I think, forward holding in this area, and the enemy team came from the other side and saw us and just clicked above this fence. Just
just lob stuff over.
It, and we will annihilate it. That's all.
That would do it. Let's talk about crits plays with the heavy. There's a couple of like set plays which aren't massively likely to happen, but they're very, very much worth sorting out. So with this one, because this front door is much more open, it means that if you can see, say, their team totally stacked up on point and you've got crits, jumping down here and having the crits onto point, you can completely wreck people. Likewise, if you're forward holding, this is one that we're planning to use tomorrow, so I probably shouldn't say it, but fuck it, I don't care. Who the fuck watches these, seriously?
No, rescue!
No, it's fine. I think this is legit. I think we're gonna like trash wasps anyway. Man, that's gonna come back to bite me, isn't it?
Oh my god,
Wow.
We're gonna lose so hard,
rescue.
and I'm just gonna
Jinx.
Jinx does. Yeah,
You don't
but,
mess with Russians, just don't.
so the concept is right. Say we're chasing them out on this side. They're over here, holding here, and we crits to start chasing them out, and they run away up here. The demo's chasing them with crits. As soon as they kind of run so far away from the demo has to call that the medic should switch the crits from the demo to the heavy, and you've come down here and you're waiting with crits. So if they try and cross up because the demo's splashing out that top area, you're hosing them through this main door.
Posing.
Yeah, don't know if that would work. We haven't actually used it. It's one of those things which is, it requires very specific circumstances to work. But
it doesn't seem like it worked very well unless the heavy, as the heavy pushed up onto the stairs, because you don't really have much to cover. The floor is kind of covering your shot.
Wait. Here's the premise, right? That your demo has chased their team out of their left hold, and he's even your demo's come to here with crits and he's splashing this area. So this area's hot, so they need to keep moving back if you're chasing
Just
them.
imagine what you would do if the crits were to push up.
Yeah, you don't want to be run this area. Your options are either go to spawn or try and cross up. But as soon as you try and cross up, there's a crits heavy waiting in the doorway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very situational, but it's worth thinking about. What else to think about? I don't know. I think that pretty much covers most of this map, really. I'm sure there's a load of stuff I'm not thinking about.
There's so little props. I'm
So say again?
noticing. So very little props on this map. Like crates and barrels and stuff.
Yeah, there's very little cover to abuse. One of the reasons I massively prefer it to Asheville, though, it doesn't have a team bias. I think it's red team on Asheville, like the crate, which would normally be here, is so much better for abusing for one team than the other. Like on one team, on one side it the crate is a little bit higher and it absorbs like maybe a third of your bullets. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you guys have any questions about particular plays on particular points? And
I actually wanted to ask you about the heavy attacking thing, where you rev up and then you deal more damage to him while he's still firing. Yeah, attack advantage.
Yeah.
Could you explain that in more detail?
Okay, so you saw the example earlier of how it works, right?
Yeah, I jump around the corner, you're still firing,
no,
somehow I deal more damage.
Don't jump around corner.
No, I just go around corner.
Yeah. This is one of those weird things. People seem to think that rev spinning around corners was like where it's at. But these days, you're actually better, like if you want that cornering advantage, you want to be spun already and be shooting as you come around the corner. So as soon as they come into view, you're getting in that damage. But I mean, there's other sides. Okay, so as far as I understand it, this is how it works, right? Your server takes like a snapshot of what's going on in the game, and that's what the server understands. And then it sends it out to both computers. Well, you and the opposing heavy. And you have that snapshot of what's going on in the world. I mean, there's interp, so to smooth things off, so it isn't a jerky thing between these snapshots that the server's sending to you and the snapshots that your computer's sending back. This has this thing called interpolation, which is why you want to work out what's the best interp for you. I'm no expert on that. I had my interp sorted out by someone who really knew what was going on and said this was good, and it seems to work for me. So yeah, but yeah. So what happens is you get this server-side snapshot of what's going on. It then sends that snapshot to each of the computers. So in this case, both heavies, the snapshot says both heavies are looking at the corner and they can't see anything, so no one's shooting. So then your computer then looks at what's going on with your movements and sends back a snapshot to the server saying what's going on. In this case, for the heavy who's standing still, what he's sending back to the server says, I'm still standing still, I'm firing at nothing, no damage. For the guy who's moving around the corner, his snapshot says, hey, I can see this other heavy and I'm causing him damage. So those both get sent to the main server, and the server goes, oh, this guy can see that guy, so he's causing damage. This guy can't see that guy, so he's not causing damage. And yeah, that's basically it. So if you're the one moving, you'll be the one causing damage because you're emerging. Now, there's one thing I should mention about this, which is you might see good heavies being spun up and moving left and right near a corner. That's because I don't want someone to get attacker's advantage over me. So what I'll do is, I want to hold at this corner. I don't want to move out into the open. So if I know there's a heavy coming around this corner, what I'll do is I'll strafe left before he's anywhere near shooting me. So it means that when he's moving around the corner, I'm also moving around the corner to minimalise the difference there. It should also be noted though, if you have a significantly worse ping, then if you're both moving around corners towards each other, you're going to take more damage because your computer is telling the server slower that you're seeing the other heavy, right?
Yeah, the guy with the higher ping has the defender's advantage. You would like to call it that way?
No, he doesn't even have a defender's advantage. It's kind of no advantage.
Why not? He can shoot you beyond the corner, just like a sniper with 200 ping can.
Except with heavy, right? Okay, so the reason snipers do that is because they'll fire a shot and move at that very last second.
Cut out again.
Okay, sorry. The reason it works for a sniper is because it's a very fractional thing. I guess if you were moving back around the corner as a heavy with high ping, would that make it better? I'm not entirely sure.
My theory is that if you're watching someone who's slowly backing up behind the corner, me being with the high ping, I should have advantage because I see more of him.
I think the way it works when I have really ridiculous ping is my damage always registers after theirs.
Much later. Yeah.
So if it's an open fight, usually your damage will register way later. But the exception is when you're critzing or something and the heavy's running away around the corner. You're I don't know how it works, but your damage registers later. So even if they're around the corner, it will register.
Yeah, you can still kill them and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, I guess if someone's running away from you, then I guess you have an advantage if you have high ping. Although I generally think high ping it's never really an advantage for heavy, just in my experience. I played a lot of NA comp, and it just never seems to be an advantage, just from experience. I mean, yeah, I could. That could just be like a trick of mine, whatever.
Unless you were like chasing a heavy away all the time, I doubt it would be an advantage. Like you've got to play openly as well, so against other classes. So
yeah. Yeah. So does that explain attacker's advantage on corn as well? You
yes.
Get it.
It sounds pretty complicated in itself, like the technical
technical
side of it is very
details
complicated.
of it.
But yeah, I understand a bit better.
The actual practicality of it is pretty simple, which is okay. So I mean, there's some places where you can really abuse this to a massive extent. Places like the little room on the second point of upward.
Yeah, the one you did, the one you went into like a big hole.
Yeah, the one you hold in there. Yeah, in fact, I think I talked about it in the walkthrough.
You did. That's where I got the idea from.
Yeah, that's basically it. Because you have those two corners and then that very confined corridor. There's a lot of interplay between. Once a heavy commits to that corridor, you can get Edge's advantage on him by moving around the corridor while he's just moving down the corridor. So yeah, you move around the corner into the corridor while he's moving down the corridor, is what I meant to say. Yeah. What else to think about? I don't know, I think I've covered most of all I can think about on this map.
Have you ever thought of using Natasha?
So with the recent Natasha buff, it's worth a look. But
what is the buff?
You get an extra
ammo instead of 200.
Yeah. So you have a lot more ammo. And there's some maps where ammo can be an issue. But yeah, no, still pretty fucking useless. Like I experimented with Natasha extensively on Gravel Pit last to see if it stopped jumpers. Not so great. One time that I would advocate using Natasha. If the opposing team has an absolute carry scout using the babyface blaster, Natasha locks him down really nicely. Also, if for some reason, God knows why, the enemy team is using a Demo Knight, Natasha's really good against Demo Knights.
We've had a lot of that, like in scrims of charge script demos, and just with, like they can just rotate so quickly.
Oh, that is so annoying! Oh my god.
Yeah.
I would guess
we play that in
Natasha
ATF
might
now.
be like more useful for the future. Like if Valve plan to make this sort of like the lobby system where you like ban weapons before the game starts or something similar.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
And then like the sticky bomb launcher would probably like one of the most like the banned weapon, which has been banned like most games. And therefore like the demo would probably force going maybe one of the shields.
Yeah, no, it was very interesting when we played that, and it really did it gave so much new life to playing TF2. Like as soon as the demo didn't have sticky launcher, then the game changed. Like not having to run minigun just because it's the best by a mile was really, really intriguing. Yeah, I'd love to see more of that. Yeah, no, on this map specifically, I can't see any reason to use any gun other than regular minigun.
I like using the Natasha on this map.
Really? Why?
It's just really good. Can't tell my secrets.
You know what? If you would force me to say something good about the Natasha on this map, is the fact that it has increased ammo. Because there's so little ammo packs.
I've been finding I really don't run out of ammo, because whichever side that we're holding on, we have the demo with us, and he sets up a dispenser. Not the demo, the NG. And there's actually, there's a big ammo pack just here, there's little ammo packs on the point. I tend to find that in my entire patrol areas, I'm not that far away from ammo packs.
There's much more ammo
and I can
packs
vouch
here
for
than
that
there
as
are
well.
on
Like I can vouch for that as well. Like I'm running constantly dead ring on this map. Like, and I just have like full like dead ring. Because of all the all the metal laying around from like weapons plus the metal boxes.
Another thing that you should have your NG prep for the concept of doing is if you call to the NG, I need ammo now, destroy something, then what he can do is he can do stuff like if he doesn't have a telly up, he can just build a telly and then detonate it immediately, and bam, there's ammo on the floor waiting for you. You need to get with your NG on board that you might ask him to do that, and he needs to be prepared to do that. Just so you need to be you need to talk to your NG and get him on board that you're going to probably do that at some point, and it's worthwhile just being prepared for that, because it'll be those like real like time critical ones where you've just run out of ammo. There's only you, your med, and your NG there, and you'll be like, I need ammo now. and if he's like really quick on the ball and just pops it, and then you can get spun up again. Like in fact, there was one time I did it with RNG Evil, and I started clicking, and because they were on us, I didn't want to spin down, because you know how like if you spin down it forces you off the minigun, and I'd have to spin up again. So what I did was I stayed spun up with the clicking. He gave me ammo, and I could start firing again immediately, which was really useful.
That also sounds like it'd be good for one of those baiting tricks, where if they hear you clicking, they're gonna be like, "Oh, they're heavy, has no ammo. We're gonna rush in on them." But suddenly you do have ammo because of your engine.
That's next level.
That's next level shit right there. I guess so. I mean, that's getting so fucking situational. Like, I mean, to set up for that, you'd have to be like, okay, we've got the engine there. I've deliberately run out of ammo.
Everyone outside.
Yeah, situational. If you can, knowing tricks like that for the 1 in 1,000 chance when that'll, win you the final of whatever. Yeah, it's worth knowing. One thing to be aware of is you can shoot through these holes. Again, debatably useful, but maybe
not as useful for heavy as it is for sniper.
Yeah, no, for sniper it's great. For you, you can get in damage on it though. It's
not you, demo. Oh, maybe it could.
Oh yeah, you can get like pills through there. I think it's just a bit random because how pills spin and shit. It's a bit, yeah. Okay, so is that it for this map?
I think so. I don't really have any other questions.
Yeah. Okay, let's call it.
It's kind of just a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, it's
gonna be. The best part about this map is everybody's going to be on equal ground because it just was added to the Highlander list, and it's not really like Asheville, so everybody's new to it.
What tends to happen?
Don't worry, I'll tell my team every strat again about this one. So.
Totally. What was I saying? Yeah. So one thing I would say is because it's a map that people don't know that well, and there's not like a fixed meta for it. That makes people tend to play a little bit fast and loose, which means if you hold your combo really, really tight and just like play really, really solid, then you'll be able to pick up a lot of people. But yeah.
I don't know if I agree about that, since when we faced Suki didn't work, they were playing like really, really as a group. As soon as we popped in with a crit something, they lost 8 people.
What I don't mean like when I say playing tight, I don't mean physically speaking. What I mean like
they're just going faster.
Right.
They're being more aggressive.
Okay. No, it's stuff like don't think, oh, I'll just go under on my own and try and get some picks. What I mean is like stay really good with your combo. Like constantly be with your demo covering him, because it's that whole thing of like the demo's biggest weakness is people getting in close. What heavy wants is people to get in close. So you have this thing where the reason you have demo heavy medic running as a combo is you've got 2 of arguably your most powerful classes, and their skill sets really complement each other. Demo has great ranged ability, heavy has great close range ability, and yeah, they just both like bounce off each other really well. So if you play with your combo, like always staying with your demo and medic, then you should be alright on this map.
Oh yeah, speaking of the vanilla week, of being forced to play with the shotgun on lobbies and stuff, I found the shotgun really effective against Demomen.
Yeah, Demomen and snipers it's great for. Like with snipers, you suddenly have a way of killing them at mid-range and really getting in their face. Like if you get into a sniper's face with a shotgun, it's very effective. Again, with Demomen, it means you can move while putting in the damage. But if you're running your combo very solidly, then you want those sandwiches for your med or your demo, just because the extra functionality there is too much. I do wonder, like, I mean, how good does your shotgun aim have to be before it's worth running shotgun?
I think as a heavy, it doesn't have to be too good, since as NG, it's not that hard compared to Scout, because you're moving slower, and as heavy, you're moving even slower, so...
It's as a heavy,
as a heavy, tracking is everything, so it won't be that bad if you're good at tracking heavy.
And it's not even a question of aim with the shotgun, it's just not having the sandwich. It's just
no, it is aim.
Default at this point.
It's for things like if when a scout is doing that bullshit jumping around your head, if you can successfully meat shot him a couple of times with a shotgun, then that's amazing. That like suddenly you have so many options, like, because when you're travelling places, you don't have spin-up time. Although, what I found when I was experimenting running shotgun in comp is because, like, okay, I mean, geez, I just realised, because I was going to say, like, with the heavies now improved spin-up time, because, you know, when I started playing heavy, it was, like, before the heavy buff.
Oh my god, old geezer.
I know, right? When I was a boy! With the new spin-up, like, every second that you're fighting with the shotgun and you haven't killed your opponent, it's more like, well, shit, you should have just spun up your minigun earlier. So that actual window of the shotgun being effective towards the shotgun being like, well, you should just spun up in the first place. Did I cut out again?
Yeah.
You stopped at your actual window.
Yeah. There's this window where between where you've killed. Okay, the window when you've encountered someone. Whereas if you have a shotgun, you start shooting them. You have to kill them before it would have been faster for you to just spin up the goddamn minigun and kill them that way. Is what I was trying to say. And these days, that window is actually really, really small. Like, just because spin-up's so fast these days, like, yeah, it's nothing. So yeah, shotgun is interesting, but yeah, you won't see me running it anytime soon.
What is your opinion on family business versus regular shotgun?
Okay, so in what context? I do a lot of fat scouting, so I do have a lot of thoughts about that in that context. In general, I think regular shotgun is just better. Family business gives you more longevity, but whoever you're fighting, you should have killed them in 6 shotgun blasts. Like, if you're getting to the 7th or 8th shotgun blast being the difference between life or death, then I just don't buy it. It's pointless. I'd rather have the extra damage for that punch.
My 2 cents about it, if you're asking this question seriously, then the only reasonable loadout which would require the family business is the one that pairs with the KGB.
Yeah,
so
I guess
you get a punch on someone and you got like 8 shots.
No, you don't have 8 shots though, because your crits don't last that long.
No, they don't.
Yeah, but it's easier to switch to the family business than to spin up your minigun.
You can switch to your shotgun.
Go shotgun. You're just getting more damage.
But it's crits anyway.
But they do less damage.
But the family business has a damage nerf to it, so it gives you more clip for less damage.
Here's a thought with crits, right? It's like, okay, so say, I don't know what exactly the difference in damage is, but say the difference in damage on each shot is 10. If you're getting crits, the difference in damage on each shot is 30. I'd much rather have the shotgun. Like, any difference in damage is amplified.
It's 15%.
Is it 15% for crits?
Yeah.
I thought it was...
No, it's 15% less for the family business.
Oh, right, yeah, so... Yeah, so
when
you're critsing, it's still 15%, but 15% of your crits damage is much bigger than 15% of your shotgun damage.
I think since we're on the topic, the family business will be a good weapon, but all the chances for it to be useful, like with crits, they're all too short for it to actually have any use.
It's just, it's like the shotgun. It's like you've got the minigun, and it spins up so fast. Shotgun's just not that useful these days.
Yeah, and like Crit Krieg and Buff Banners, they all don't last that long, like long enough for it to be more useful than the shotgun.
I'd say if you're really, really thinking of using the shotgun, use Tomislav.
Also, I was going to ask that, what is your opinion on Tomislav on this map? Because Brass Beast is just nothing.
Brass Beast, due to repositioning, I love the Brass Beast. She's my beautiful child, but she's not that bright. Yeah, just doesn't work. Tomislav on this map, I'd never run it. Too many like face-on-face confrontations. The times you want to run Tomislav, the reason you use Tomislav is for the silent spin-up.
Yeah.
It's ambush. So it's like on Gully Wash, like if I'm defending last, I'll contemplate using the Tomislav, because you can go from pipe and do loads of damage. You can be spun up on that health back just next to the main door. Or, you know, you can be spun up in shadow. There's options there for being unobvious and getting killed with Tomislav. But don't always run it, because it's a little bit gimmicky. Like, if people know that you're running Tomislav and they're ready for it, then essentially you've just got a minigun that does a bit less damage.
Thing is that you get like one chance to ambush someone, they will be called out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once you're spotted, it's... Yeah. I mean, what I do love doing with Tomislav is going on the pipe you need to prep your med for this one. Like, if he's like healing you and the heal beam goes up to that, you're just like, for fuck's sake, guys, stop healing me. Yeah.
Would you ever use the killing gloves of boxing?
No. Just because I'd love them to make the holiday punch legal. I don't see why it's not legal. I think it would add a really interesting aspect, like a real last ditch thing to go for if like all else has failed.
I've never really found out why they banned it specifically either.
It's top tubers.
Well, okay, there's a couple of reasons, and I'm not convinced by either of them. And this is from like UGC brass. One is they say
over things is silly.
Okay, the stop two with things is dumb because you should ban the huntsman on exactly the same reason. What it is I think they think it'll be used as a kind of joke weapon used to taunt teams that are being beaten a lot. But I think that's a dumb reason as well. I don't know why it's banned. It's stupid as fuck.
Surely if you are like even contemplating using it, you know you're at a disadvantage if the other heavy's using miniguns, so it's like,
yeah.
I don't know,
well, okay,
it's kind of stuff.
Here's where I'd use Holiday Punch. If I don't want to use Fists of Steel because of the longer switch time, and I don't want to use Gru because of the mini crits, then you could run something different. Yeah, no. If they made Holiday Punch legal, no one would fucking play it. It'd be like Coalplant Heater, where it was banned for ages. They unbanned it. Oh, sorry. I think Holiday Punch, if they unbanned it, would be exactly like Coalplant Heater, where it was banned for ages because, oh my god, it's so overpowered.
But then nobody would use it.
Yeah, they unbanned it, and it's fucking useless. No one uses it.
I think if you use the Holiday Punch, you can be more of a sneaky heavy. If like some team doesn't check the corners, a lot of the time most teams don't. So
you can be sneaky, use a minigun.
I'm quite curious, Rusky. About like the Highlander heater. How about using it like on offense on like some payload maps? Like when there aren't like a lot of grounds where you need to like shoot. Like
that's
the problem with using on offense is, and I mean this is just the big disadvantage of it. If you're on
talking
cart,
about riding the cart?
Yeah, if you're going to ride the cart and do it, I don't think it's that good. Also,
the point is that like the cart is like an extra dispenser, which are often quite close to you.
But you being on the cart isn't that useful.
No, I didn't mean like you would be in the cart and riding it. I meant like you can see the cart as sort of like a second dispenser. So if your AG is putting out one, the cart is one, so you will have like a lot of extra ammunition.
Here is my experience of experimenting with prolonged heaters and using it on attack, on payloads and such. It'd be good for a bit. And like, so start of upward, it's actually not that bad. You've got the cart there, you can keep going back to it. It actually keeps the spy off you when you're like working the rocks and stuff. But here's the problem. You get to that push, and you're pushing second and you haven't died yet, and you're gimped because you can't stay spun up because you're just pissing ammo. Yeah, like, there's bits on payload maps where it's actually really good, like the start of upward, because, there's lots of places for a spy to get you. But if you like don't die, then you're just stuck on a massively inferior minigun. Like, not a little bit inferior, massively inferior.
Here's a hypothesis. What if they gave the Natasha buff to the Highlander heater?
Extra ammo?
Yeah, give it a 50% extra ammo.
Then I'd consider using it. Well, no, I wouldn't have it as default, just because the amount of time I like to just be spun up looking at stuff.
Being spun up is a big part of heavy. Yeah,
exactly. Like, I really wouldn't like that. Yeah. The Natasha buff, just, while we're giving our 2 cents, it's interesting, but Natasha is, it's essentially flawed in how it works in the game in a greater sense. So, there was a bit when Natasha was overpowered, and then there was a bit when Natasha was actually really nicely balanced. But when Natasha was really nicely balanced, people still really didn't enjoy it, because the effect it has on opponents isn't fun. And the reason we play computer games is for fun, so if there's a weapon that just isn't fun, then they have to nerf it into obsolescence. What they're doing with the recent buff is trying to make it better in some way which isn't the entire point of Natasha, which is slowing people down. Like, how does slowing people down and having extra ammo synergize? It really doesn't. So yeah, but it makes it better for, say, tower on gravel pit, like C point. Suddenly you've got extra ammo and you're slowing down jumpers. Possibly.
Would you ever use the brass beast?
Would I ever use the brass beast? I've toyed with it in certain places. I just don't think it's viable, and the reason I don't think it's viable.
Does it break your heart?
Yeah, I'd love it to be viable. Do you know what? I actually think the thing that makes it really unviable is, and they could fix this in a number of ways. I think it's stuff like the spin up speed would be the obvious one to say, but no, I think the spin down speed is the problem, because that's the thing that really gets me, right? You can be spun up ahead of time, and the slowness means that holding corners is plausible, but what really kills it for me is if things get too hot, you can't retreat as fast. The spin down time is as slow as the spin up time, and it gets you killed. Like, who was using it? I can't remember. Like, some of the some Prem teams were like experimenting with it on Steel. Yeah, playing it on that first point, and they were doing it in a scrim, and yeah, I killed. Like, I can't remember who it was I was playing it, but I killed like a couple of heavies in instances.
Kaltu, maybe?
What?
Kaltu, maybe?
Maybe Kaltu, was it Jamal? I can't
remember.
Yeah.
Jamal,
but yeah, there was a couple of instances where I killed their heavy, and it was like he would not have died if he wasn't running Brass Beast there, because he could have escaped in time.
So have you tried using it together with Whip or Conch?
Wow.
You don't move much faster.
This is just gonna be me being bitched.
Yeah,
Okay,
here's
that would mean like the Sodi would be the heaviest bitch, but I mean like.
It doesn't like.
So Rusty, we trying this?
I think it's interesting. Like, if you've got Conch on him just spawning, I mean, again they'll be trapped on this slightly inferior minigun, but yeah, I'm up for giving that a try. I think we'd want to experiment first to just see how much faster you go. Like, do you just get the flat percentage increase, or is it a percentage?
Well, we got the people
I think I
right
actually
now.
tried it before.
How
it's
did it work
not.
out?
It's like, I think you still move. You don't move fast as the regular minigun. You get a buff of speed, but you don't move as fast as.
If that was the case,
if you
then
regular.
fuck that. Like, I'd much rather be conched with the regular minigun, just because the speed that you have is just.
It's the only gun where it's working properly. Because with any other minigun, you just have no spin down time. I don't know. That's how I feel.
Well, you have a little bit of spin down, but it's not as much as the Brass Beast.
It's not as long as the spin up. That's
yeah. It's definitely not, but it's like, yeah, it's just the spin down the Brass Beast is just brutal. Like, you can't reposition fast enough. Like, you can't play corners, it's just so much. In fact, that would be an interesting experiment. With edging advantage, does the slow speed on Brass Beast mean that it loses to the regular minigun on edging? I don't know. Yeah, it's probably something for experimenting.
You could have a whole, another whole video series experimenting with stuff like that. Like, imagine Mythbusters, but TF2.
Yeah, Heavy Busters.
That's
just
what me
everything
and
to do with
Husky
heavy.
did the first time we met.
Yeah, no, we just compared and contrasted and chatted about loads of weird little quirks for the heavy and such. What you can get away with things. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap that up now for talking about not Asheville, Coalplant. That's the one.